lows. It's your favorite coach, Goddess Glow. And I just felt like going over some information today. I did mention that I was going to go back into vulnerability and post a video on YouTube. And I had some things going on, so I kind of forgot. Well, I didn't really forget. I just ended up putting it on the back burner. But and then this past week I wanted to do this writing book for children that included affirmations. So I did do that, and actually let me show some images from it. Like this page right here. I am creative. And it has like multiple little things in the book. Here it is. Write with me. And it's really a children's handwriting affirmation book. So I make sure that I put the alphabet in there, A to Z, numbers 0 to 10. I also placed inside the book the days of the week. So, Sunday through Saturday, the months of the year, January through December. I added all that information in the book along with pictures with each affirmation. Oh, and shapes and colors. The only page that mainly has colors on it will probably be the colors page because it's colors. And they're going to write the word for the color. Let me just show you how I have that set up actually. Instead of me just like going over it that way. So let's see, our colors page. So as you can see, where they can trace the colors. As well, they're able to actually see the colors. So that's a little brief rundown of the handwriting book I just made for the kids. Now, the real point of this video today is for me to go over a couple things. First, I'll be talking a little bit about law of attraction and law of assumption. And then I would also be including some of my vulnerability and informing you of why I became a self-love coach. So here we go. First and foremost, I'm going to reiterate, I am not a manifestation coach, okay? I am not a manifestation coach. I am a self-love coach. So my focus is self-love, not manifestation. Now, with self-love, can you manifest what you want? Yes. But again, my focus is not manifestation, all right? Just put that out there. So, I personally don't follow law of attraction or the law of assumption, but I consider them to be siblings, identical twins. Same mom, same dad, different paths, or however people decide to see them. And the community for both, when they started seeming more like cult-like, I kind of just like, okay, I don't follow neither one because you're not forcing your limitations on me. And it's not the laws themselves, it's the people who interpret the laws and try to teach them where they're forcing their limited mindset and being onto others. I don't believe in being limited. I don't care how much I want to say, well, logically, I don't believe in being limited. That's not in my, it's not me. I can't do it. You can't tell me that I can't do something. Because one way or another, it's going to be done. I can. I always can. So that's one thing. And I also want to you don't have to. You do not have to follow any specific method consistently, repeatedly, just to change your mind. You don't. You don't have to repeat anything to have your desire. You also do not have to take inspired action, physical inspired action. Let me reiterate that because it's physical. A lot of people think when law of attraction says, oh, you must take inspired action, that it means you have to do something physically to get what you want. You want money? Oh, well, you need to go start a business. Oh, well, you need to go get a job. No, money could come out of thin air. I've witnessed money coming from thin air, but I digress. You also don't have to be a specific vibration. Like some people hyper focus on being a certain vibration to be in alignment with what they want. No, you don't have to do that either. Again, these are rules that people have made to say, oh, this is how this law works. You follow this rule and you would get what you want because this is how this law works. People. Again, keyword. Okay? So, along with that, let's see what we have here. I had to write everything down because, you know, I could be scatterbrained sometimes and all over the place. So, after that, I want to say also, because there's people that think that you have to be super happy or super excited to manifest. You don't. You just don't. You don't have to be super excited. You don't have to be super happy. You just have to be the person who has it. You know? It even speaks about manifestation in the Bible for those who are religious. It does speak on it. It doesn't use those words, but it definitely speaks on it, and it definitely tells you that basically being is how you do it. But whatever. Again, I digress. So I just want to ask you. Now, just because I don't choose either sides between the identical twins, it doesn't mean that I don't agree with some of their principles. I believe you should do what you enjoy to do and be who you want to be. That is up to you. Okay? Your choice. All right? Now, if you're being the person that you wanted to be in this current moment, would you be second guessing yourself? Would you have so much doubt if you were that person now? No? Okay. So if you were that person now, then why the fuck are you second guessing yourself? Stop second guessing your damn self, okay? All right. And that's the gist of it. Be that person now. How would this person think? What would they think? How would they perceive things? How are you perceiving things? Are you perceiving them as a person from your past, or are you perceiving them as a person you want to be for your future and making it your present? Stop hyper-focusing on the future. The future never comes. The present no longer exists. The past no longer exists, I'm sorry. The future never comes and the past no longer exists. You only have the present moment. Focus on your current moment, your present moment. What's going on in your current moment? How are you feeling in this moment? What are you thinking in this moment? Focus on that, okay? Now, I decided to become a self-love coach because I realized that when I focus on self-love, I love and trust myself more. I honor myself more. You know, I don't allow myself to be mistreated and abused anymore. Yeah, see? When I decided to love myself, I started accepting things. I stopped accepting things that I would have accepted in the past. Because the person who loves himself would not accept those things. I began to choose myself first. And a lot of us don't tend to do that. We don't choose ourselves first. We always put somebody else in front of us, whether it's a significant other or our children or whoever. Parents, grandparents, cousins, whoever. We always choosing other people first before ourselves. We take ourselves off that pedestal and we cater to everyone else, pour into everyone else, and not into ourselves. We don't give ourselves that same energy, that same love that we give to others. Now, things that people would usually assume or perceive to be bad or negative, with me loving myself, I decided to change the meaning. I decided to see them as something beautiful, positive. nurturing. I changed the meanings and made it either positive or neutral. Mainly neutral, but because again, you don't have to be happy all the time. You don't. You just be neutral. And things don't have to matter for real. And you know, change works from the inside out, not the outside in. I'm able to be vulnerable, and I could tell my whole life story if I wanted to without any shame, because there are people who can relate. There are people that can hear this and relate, past, present, or future. It's people going through these type of things, going through things that they feel other people can't understand or can't relate to. They don't want to talk about it. And it's okay to not want to talk about it as well. So I wanted to provide something to where I could tell my story and tell other stories, and you relate in your own piece, you know, at your own time. Or you sign up for coaching with me. But anyways, so I wanted to reiterate that you assign meaning to everything in your life. Not me, not your parents, not your siblings, your cousins, your children, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. You, not the environment, not the news, by the way. You assign meaning to everything in your life. You live for you at the end of the day. Because I promise you, other people are living for themselves. Live for you. And this might ruffle some feathers or get some people upset at this next thing I'm going to say, but whatever, okay? I never thought of myself as living for my children. And my children don't live for me. We are both on this journey of self-discovery, and we help each other out along the way. That's it. And this is when grief plays a part for some people, because when you envelop yourself into another person, you put so much of yourself into another person and they go away, you end up losing a part of yourself. And that's like when I lost my grandmother and my brother in the same year, and then within a year later, separated from my ex-husband. That broke me at the end of the day. And I did fall into a depression in trying to rediscover myself, because I don't put myself into all these things, but I had to realize, what example was I setting for my children? I realized that I need to be the person that I would want them to look up to. I realized I wouldn't want them to deal with the situations I've dealt with. I wouldn't want them dealing with verbal abuse, any type of abuse. Like, you know, there's verbal abuse, there's physical abuse, there's emotional abuse. I wouldn't want them dealing with that. I wouldn't want them to even allow someone else to have that much power. When I decided to become a self-love coach, I decided to love myself more. And I wanted to coach to teach other parents and people in general how to love themselves, so that we can teach the new generations, so we can implement this into the newer generation, so that they grow up having the love that we did not have growing up, so that they have it together as they grow, instead of being like some of us who are just now figuring it out because we didn't have that example. My grandma didn't have that example. My mama didn't have that example. You know, we become our environment. We become what we see. And I want to teach my children that, no, we're going to do this differently. So, and again, it is good to learn to love yourself and put yourself on that pedestal, because that energy you've been giving away to someone else that you're supposed to share excess of energy with, instead you give it all away, you become depleted, and there's a hole that can't be filled. You get this void there that it seems like it can't be filled. And in order to fill this void, you find something else to physically put outside of you to put in it. You're constantly replacing it with other things, and it doesn't ever fill that void, because you never filled that void with yourself, with what you should have felt it with in the first place. You know, the last call I got from my grandma before she passed, well, the last voicemail, not the call, last voicemail I got from her, she asked how I was doing specifically. She said, I know the kids are good, but how are you? I want to know, how are you doing? And that just reconfirmed for me that I needed to put myself first. How can you pour to others from a half empty cup? Now you done poured all, you only had half a cup. You poured everything out. Now you're empty. They're full. What do you have to fill yourself with? Versus you keep pouring into yourself. Keep pouring into yourself. And that excess, the overflow, you give to others. That's what my focus is. It's also learning how to have access to where I'm able to benefit others, because if you're depleted, what do you think they are? You can't give to them anymore because you have nothing else to give. So with all of that, again, I want to express, take your power back. Take your power back. Stop focusing on labels and judgments. Get back in touch with yourself. Figure out what you need, mind, body, soul. What do you need within to make yourself happy? What do you need within to love yourself more? Because it all revolves around how you feel about yourself. What you feel you can attract in your life and receive goes back to, how do you feel about yourself? How are you treating yourself? Are you treating yourself with respect? Are you allowing other people to disrespect you? Because they end up being your reflection. They become a reflection of your thoughts, a reflection of what you're being. So again, how are you treating yourself? Now, if you need help getting yourself back on that pedestal, I'm here for you. I also will be providing some programs and releasing some urban fiction books, and those all revolve around self-love. So stay tuned, keep a lookout. You know, follow me, subscribe, like. That's much appreciated. Also, you can follow me on TikTok as well, and it's going to be at Goddess Glow, and that's GADES Glow, GLO. Sending you all love and light. Have a blessed day.